Every football fan knows of the New England Patriots. If you're anything like me, you sort of loathe them for how successful they are. I mean, really think about it. In one of the weakest quarterback draft classes to date, they were able to grab the winningest quarterback in NFL history. It just seems like the New England Patriots always make the correct move, to the point where when they trade one of their great players, nobody questions Bill Belichick anymore. 2 years ago, Bill Belichick traded star pass rusher Chandler Jones to the Arizona Cardinals. This year, Bill Belichick once again traded one of his best defensive players in Jamie Collins to the Cleveland Browns. The latest New England Patriot to be discussed as trade bait? Jimmy Garropolo. Jimmy Garropolo was drafted in the second round of the 2014 draft and immediately drew comparisons to Tony Romo. Possibly because they both went to East Illinois University, but on top of that, Garropolo is the highest pick the Patriots have used on a quarterback in the Bill Belichick era. Now bear in mind, the Patriots have always had a knack for selling high on their stud players. And after throwing for 2 touchdowns in week 1 and completing 24 out of 33 of his passes, and 3 touchdowns in week 2 before getting sidelined by a shoulder injury, Garropolo's stock has never been higher. Now, what seems to be the problem with this is history tends to repeat itself, and I'm sure we've all heard that cliche. Well, if you look at the history of quarterbacks to back up Tom Brady and then move on to other teams, the results don't look so pretty. Now, we all know the prime example of this is Matt Castle. How can we forget Matt Castle in the 2008 season? If you think of Matt Castle right now, you think of a scrub journeyman quarterback that just wanders from team to team and is just pretty much your nightmare once you put him in at the quarterback position. But for those of you who have seen Matt Castle's 2008 season, you know that this guy was the next thing, the next big thing. When Tom Brady went down with an ACL injury, Matt Castle showed up and not only played well, but Patriot fans were actually questioning if he was the future of the New England Patriots. Now you might be thinking, Mike, you are absolutely crazy. What are you talking about? Look back at his 2008 season. You'll find 2 games where he threw for over 400 yards over the New York Jets. One of them which included a comeback from 24-6 to send the game into overtime. What ended up happening with Castle? Well, of course they're going to stick to their man Tom Brady. They traded Matt Castle to the Kansas City Chiefs for the 34th pick in the 2009 draft, a pick that ended up turning into Patrick Chung. And Castle went to sign a 6-year, $62 million contract with the Chiefs before getting cut a mere 4 years later. In the beginning of 2011, Ryan Mallett was heralded as a future franchise quarterback who should definitely be worth a 1st or 2nd round pick. Again, this was the very beginning of 2011. What ended up happening is he slid to the 3rd round due to his off-the-field issues, and the Patriots drafted him. Eventually, the New England Patriots would trade him to the Texans for a 6th and a 7th round pick, and we all know that Ryan Mallett isn't really anything special currently. I guess that's an example of one of the investments that have failed in the Bill Belichick era. The point I'm trying to make is that the New England Patriots have a tendency of drafting Tom Brady's backup, building up his stock, and then trading him. Does this investment always pay off? Not necessarily. Does any investment always pay off? But is it brilliant? Yes. At the end of the day, teams should be wary when they are trying to trade for a backup quarterback in hopes of finding their franchise QB, because most of the time, not only is it ineffective, but the cost may be way too high. If there's one lesson we should all take away from this, is that teams go absolutely berserk in the quest of finding their franchise quarterback, and will do almost anything it takes to get their hands on their franchise quarterback. And that is just one of the things Bill Belichick understands and is willing to leverage in order to make the New England Patriots one of the greatest, if not the greatest dynasty in all of football.